Hey everyone, this is June from Turning Point Life Investment, and this is your stock market analysis for January 6, 2012. Okay, looking at SPY here on a daily view, the market more or less remained flat for the rest of the week. We had a nice gap up on not Monday, Tuesday, and it just stayed relatively flat for the most part, which could be a bullish development simply because it's being held or it's staying above this previous support area. So it looks like the market's holding itself up pretty well. And I suspect that if we can get any breakout outside of this little base, this little consolidation pattern, we can probably see some more upside. But you do want to keep in mind that the market is bumping its head right underneath this resistance area. We'll say about the 129, give or take, 129, even the 130 area. I suspect is some pretty strong resistance zone right there. So it's got some uphill battle that this market needs to go. But overall, it seems like it's setting up for some bullish breakout. But of course, if the market decides to fall back underneath this support area, then we might have to change our tune and possibly say that the market is ready to head lower. But for now, these are the two important levels that I'm looking at. And one thing I do also want to point out is that the daily stochastic is heading into overbought territories. The last time the daily stochastic was up here was back in October, and as you know, back in October we hit that top right there, and it seems like it's developing that same thing. So overall, market looks like even though it could break out some more, but it's getting a bit stretched out towards the upside. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that the VIX is showing some kind of a divergence, bearish divergence, because the market's been going up, okay, relatively well, and it's traded above this previous point right there. But if you look at the VIX, it's still above this previous point. It hasn't exactly broken down just yet, so we're starting to see a little bit of the divergence going on with the VIX. And as you know, the VIX has provided some pretty important clues for the market, and I would definitely start paying attention to see how the VIX develops. If it really breaks down into this area, this is when we had the previous top. So I would also be careful if the VIX really breaks down, then it's too bullish, too one-sided, and that could also spell trouble for the market. So overall, I would definitely watch how sentiment develops for these next week. And also, speaking of next week, Alcoa begins its earnings report, and that usually starts off earnings week. So earnings week, you got to be careful. It can throw off the charts and just basically kind of mess things up a little bit. You just never know how the market will react to certain earnings. Okay, so just be careful next week since it is earnings, going into earnings.